The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration.
Good evening. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Travis Anello, joined by Kara Bodnar and Matt Forney. Big weekend coming up in Salisbury sports. We are going to start tonight with men's basketball. Last night defeating Marymount 73-59, due in part to a 15-3 second half run. We keep mentioning it. You know, it's getting closer to postseason play. This is obviously a big stepping stone for Salisbury men's basketball in their journey to a possible NCAA tournament bid.
Definitely. I mean, yesterday that kind of clinched, being that Marymount is a CAC opponent, that clinched their second place for the CACs. The runs that they had, that definitely helped. And right now they're third in the Mid-Atlantic region. So if they don't win CACs, they do have that third bid. That way, the at-large is possibly theirs.
I think that win was crucial last night. I think they need to at least get to the championship game, win they automatic berth in the NCAA tournament, but lose at Newport, it has to be a close game. And they have the resume that they should be an at-large bid. Like you said, third in the region.
Yeah, third in the Mid-Atlantic region, behind Christopher Newport, conference opponent, and Susquehanna. I remember the second team this week. I wrote it down, made sure to remember. But last week mentioned they had 5 votes for the top 25. This week, still not in the top 25, but they're up to 22 votes. So obviously, the voters in the top 25 poll are recognizing them as a good team. They're 19-5. That's a pretty strong record. And, you know, they, like you said, they have the resume. Out of all Division III, if you count the top 25 and the teams ahead of them not ranked who have more votes, they're 31st in the country. So I think it'd be a crime if they didn't get into the tournament as an at-large bid. But, you know, like we always mentioned, we don't know what kind of conference the CAC is compared to the rest of the NCAA. This weekend, they're playing Frostburg State on Saturday at 3 p.m.-ish at home. You know, senior day, last game of the regular season. Earlier on the road, or in the season on the road, beat Frostburg State by 41 points. How important is it that they come out on Saturday and just do that same thing again?
I think it's a statement to the committees that if they don't win the tournament, the conference tournament, that, you know, it's, hey, we beat our rival twice, and not by just a point, but by large amounts in a blowout fashion. So I think it's critical for their NCAA tournament. It's an eye-opener. It catches your eye on their resume.
I definitely agree with that. If they win Saturday and repeat the whole 41-point blowout, it would definitely look good for them. If they don't win the CACs, it'll help them with getting that at-large bid.
Yeah, you know, they clinched their second seed in the CAC tournament. No idea who they're going to play yet. Right now, the CAC men's basketball standings is just a mess from seeds 3 to 6. It can go anywhere. The only guarantees is CNU number 1, Salisbury number 2. But in my opinion, if Salisbury wins on Saturday, if they win their semifinal game on, I believe, Thursday night, it'll be next week. They go to Christopher Newport next Saturday and, you know, play a close game. They played them close on the road. They had them beat at home and just kind of fell apart at the end. I think they'll go 21, and there'll be a 21-6 record, and I don't think there's any way that they can be left out of the NCAA tournament. Wouldn't you guys?
I agree. I think that's definitely strong enough, and especially playing Newport close in all 3 meetings, you know, win or lose. It's a statement that, hey, we played the conference champion. If they lose next Saturday, you know, it's a statement saying, hey, we belong.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If they win, it's always been a close game against them. I think the guys are ready to go out and just finally get a win against CNU, so it should be good.
Now switching over to women's basketball, different story. You know, last season we saw the women's basketball team was just amazing. They broke school records for wins. They got to the Elite Eight, furthest they've ever been in program history. This season, it's a rebuilding year. I would be safe to call it. But they are going to the CAC tournament, and they do still have a chance to pull something off. But they've lost 5 of 7. What do you guys think has gone wrong for them this season?
I think it's their offense. They're not clicking. They haven't gelled. And yes, I realize they've lost Hackett and Sight from a year ago, but they have the players to rebuild and restock, and it hasn't clicked. Like we talked before the show, you mentioned that they shot 31% against Marymount. That's not going to get it done. You score 38 points, you're just not performing, and I think that, it's just not going to get it done. They need to fix things and fix things quick if they want to. Obviously, they got to win the CAC to get another tournament bid.
Exactly. If they're going to want to get that tournament bid, they're going to have to win CACs. And they have, for this year, it is a rebuilding year. They have more newcomers than returners. It was a big senior class. There's a few girls that quit right before the season started. So I definitely think that if they do want to have the chance to have another NCAA just shot, they're going to have to gel fast, figure out what's going on, and just really take over the CACs during the tournament.
Well, they start their journey to the CAC championship on Tuesday at York. Both times this season they lost to York, 80-74 in overtime, 58-47. If they can go on the road, I believe the overtime loss was the one on the road. If they can win that game, they'll play either CNU or Marymount. That number 1 seed is still up for grabs. But that starts Tuesday. So now we're going to go over to lacrosse. Big day for lacrosse yesterday. We have some highlights of that game. They were going up against Lynchburg College, a familiar foe for the Seagulls. Number 5 Salisbury hosting number 2 Lynchburg yesterday, home opener for the Seagulls. Lynchburg would grab an early 3-0 lead, but Salisbury would not go away. Thomas Cirillo grabs the ground ball and rips it past goalie Chris Hawley to get them on the board. A minute later, Brady DeShiel takes a pass from Jake Rotman, and he one-times it into the net to get Salisbury within 3-2 now. Less than a minute later, Brendan Bromwell takes it himself, tying this game 3 apiece. You can see the excitement there from the Seagulls. Lynchburg would score 4 straight, take a 7-3 lead. Now 7-6, James Burton takes it himself, works it around a defender, and he would be able to get this game tied up at 7. Once again, Lynchburg takes a 3-goal lead. It's 11-8 heading into the 4th quarter, and the 4th quarter would become the Carson Kalama show. 30 seconds into the corner, Kalama would get wide open, gets the goals to 11-9. 16 seconds later, Cirillo drops it off to Kalama in the same exact spot on the field, right there in the middle, right in the slot, rips it past Hawley to get it to 11-10 now. That was a man-up opportunity. And then later in the quarter, Burton would get it to Kalama, who once again rips it past Chris Hawley, tying the game up at 11. Carson Kalama, 3 goals in the game, all of them in the first 5 minutes of the 4th quarter. Now, this is the moment that Salisbury's been waiting for 2 years now. Nathan Blondina would be the one to do it. He gives the Seagulls a 12-11 lead, and that is Salisbury's first lead against Lynchburg since February 15th, 2014, when Greg Corvin slotted home an overtime winner, which would make it 12-11, same score that they made it there. Salisbury added 2 more goals and would take the upset, you can call it victory, 14-11 over the Hornets of Lynchburg College. Look at the celebration there. You see the stats. Cirillo, 4 goals. Kalama, 3 goals of his own. Salisbury outscored Lynchburg 6-0 in the 4th quarter. They also outshot Lynchburg 50-27, 25-14 on goal. Really, Salisbury dominated. Look at the stats. Salisbury dominated that game. Yeah, what were you going to say, Matt?
It's just, it's a good early motivation or momentum swinger for this Seagull team, considering they lost to them in both times last season. Like you said, they hadn't had a lead against them since 2014, so a big win there. I think this team is dangerous if they get 7 more ranked opponents on their schedule, but that was a huge early win.
Definitely. With Tom Cirillo's 4 goals, the 2 assists, Carson Kalama coming alive during that 4th quarter, they really just outshined Lynchburg really during it. With the 6 unanswered goals, they didn't really know how to reply to it. And I really think the Seagulls this year, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they really they have the offense. Obviously, they have a lot of returners on offense, and the defense really clicked. In the second quarter, Joshua Dean took over in net for Anthony Starvakis. Starvakis allowed 7 goals on 7 shots in the first 19 minutes of the game. Dean comes in, he allows 4 goals while also taking 7 shots. So you look at the they both took 7 shots, but you look at the time. Starvakis all 7 goals, 7 shots in 19 minutes. Dean only allowed 7 shots in 41 minutes. So you look, the defense really clicked when Joshua Dean came into the net, and if they stick with Dean all season, then the defense will just click and the offense is as good as they are. I think they can be back on top this year.
I definitely agree with that. I think once everything does come together and does gel, the 2-0 on the season really does give them, as you said, a lot of momentum going into it. I really think that they have a good chance to just make a really good run for it.
Like you said, just finishing that up, 6-0 in the fourth quarter, not allowing a fourth quarter goal. That's got to be huge, considering we know what type of team Lynchburg is, and we know what type of team our team is, and knowing that Newt Krause isn't back there on defense, but they stepped up without him. Obviously, he graduated, but that's got to be huge for that defense to have confidence going forward when they get down, knowing that, hey, we can buckle down any moment here and win, especially against the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, if you look at the stats, once again, I mentioned they dominated on the stat sheet. 18-9 in faceoffs, 50-27 in shots. They won the turnover battles 16-10. They won the ground balls 28-17. And I think the difference to me was playing in front of the home crowd. They never wanted to give up. They went down by 3 goals, 3 separate occasions. They went down by 4 goals the second time. So they were losing 3-0, 7-3, and 11-8, and they never quit. It shows that this team is not gonna quit this year. And now we're gonna send it over something new on Sports Night. We have some weather for us. So Scott, why don't you tell us about the weather this weekend for the home games?
Yes, Travis. So if you were cursing me last weekend, don't fret. It's going to be much milder. Tomorrow's going to be the coolest day for tennis. We'll have a high of 42. It's going to be overcast, so it's not going to be the most beautiful day, but at least it's not frigid. We're going to have a south wind at 6 to 12 miles per hour. And then Sunday's the day to get out there. We are going to bump the 60s. We've got 5 different events going on, so see if you can't get to all of them. The thing here, though, is it's going to be really windy. We've got some west-southwest winds that are going to be 14 to 24 knots, and we are going to have them gusting up to 30 miles an hour. It will reach 62, I think, which could set a record there in the afternoon, but it is going to be later, so we'll see. Sunday, though, we're going to have rain. It's going to be clear in the morning, so when you wake up and you don't see rain, grab your rain jacket anyway. It's probably going to start mid-game. We do have a high in the high 50s as well, with a much lighter west wind than we did on Saturday. And back to Travis.
Thank you for that. Like you mentioned, very big Saturday for Salisbury. So many home games going on at once, and it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. Baseball season opener, they're playing Cortland State. Cortland State, number 1 team in the country, defending national champions. What are you expecting out of this 2-game series for the Seagulls?
Not sure if it's going to happen on Saturday because it's mentioning of rain and that rain delay, so possibly not play Saturday. Better off Sunday, but it's going to be an early test for this baseball team, 4th in the country, preseason top 25, and then, picked to win the CAC, so good early test for Salisbury.
Definitely, I think it's going to be a good game, a lot of competition. Both teams are going to be going out there to win. I really honestly, with the talent that the baseball team does have coming up this year, I think it should be a great game to watch.
Yeah, not only did baseball have a hard test, softball also opening their season against Virginia Wesleyan, 14th ranked team in the country. Salisbury softball ranked 2nd preseason. Do you think they're going to be able to get back to the College World Series this year?
Without a doubt. I believe they got the talent, and the big question is pitching, just because we lost Rachel Johnson. But they have the talent to do it. There's a reason why they're number 2 in the country.
Definitely Margie Knight. She's been able to get those girls motivated and able to get them going for that whole season the past few years. So I think this year they'll be able to go back to the World Series.
Well, it's going to do it for us this week on Sports Night. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Go out there, watch some games. You have absolutely no excuse not to go out there and watch Salisbury take home 5 victories. But that's it for Sports Night this week. For Kara Bodnar, Matthew Forney, and our weather person, Scott, I'm Travis Manillo. Have a great weekend, everybody.